It is time once again for some more Champions League predictions, this time for the round of 16. A lot of people were hating on the fixtures we got, saying the competition's dead. I disagree. I think this is going to be really entertaining. We're going to go game by game here. I'm going to give you guys my breakdown and my predicted winner. Before we get started, this video is brought to you by SportyTrader. We're going to be using them in this video, and if you guys want even more tips and statistics for your bets, please go on their UCL page at sportytrader.com, link in the description. First game we're talking about is Galatasaray versus Liverpool. A bit of a revenge game for Liverpool, who did lose to Galatasaray during the group phase, and a team that has no doubt been disappointing this season. I don't know a single person who's entertained or happy with the current iteration of Arne Slot ball. Something both of these teams have in common during the Champions League is a massive beatdown that they experienced. Galatasaray losing 5-1 against Frankfurt, and Liverpool getting beat 4-1 by PSV at home. Not a great Champions League afternoon at Anfield. If there's one thing that I'm predicting in this game, it's a lot of goals. Galatasaray, after watching them against Juventus, are an even more offensive team than what I thought. The first leg is in Istanbul, and they understand they probably need a 2-goal victory here. And kind of surprisingly, Galatasaray are the underdog, according to the odds makers. So I guess beating Juventus 5-2 didn't really mean anything. I do think Galatasaray can win the home leg, but on aggregate, I think Liverpool win it by 2 goals. Galatasaray played well against Juventus, but they also took advantage of a lot of Juve mistakes that I just don't think Liverpool is going to replicate. The next game we're going to talk about is Atalanta versus Bayern Munich, my nominee for the most underrated Champions League round of 16 matchup. And Atalanta, despite the comeback against Dortmund in the playoff round, despite playing the first game against Bayern Munich at home, are massive underdogs in this game. This is one that I might have circled here because I believe Bayern Munich probably getting, 5 to 6 goals on aggregate at least in this leg. But that defense is not fantastic, and they've been leaking a lot of goals recently. And Atalanta is an offensively inclined team that can score as well, especially at home. They've had several very, very strong offensive performances this season, such as against Juventus in the Coppa Italia. And they just put 4 past Dortmund. And I love Palladino as a manager. I liked him at Fiorentina and the job that he did there. Now he's left, and Fiorentina are battling relegation. Coincidence? I think not. But I do think Atalanta got a little bit fortunate with Dortmund because of Dortmund's inability to kill off the tie in the away leg. It's not going to be Julian Brandt and Guirassy anymore. It's Luis Diaz and Harry Kane. Some of, if not the most informed players in the world at the moment. In the end, it's going to be too much for Atalanta, and I'm going for a lot of goals here. I'm going to say Bayern Munich 7-4 on aggregate. I feel like they'll win it by 3 goals. Next up is Tottenham versus Atlético Madrid. Tottenham facing relegation in the Premier League, a truly horrific team to have to watch, versus an Atlético Madrid that are more stacked than they probably have been since Simeone arrived. The amount of depth, the different players, the different play styles that Simeone can use now at Atleti should make this a routine victory, and the odds agree. Tottenham is a massive underdog in this game. The bull argument for Tottenham is that Atleti have had a couple stinky Champions League performances, and the buck kind of stops there, because if Igor Tudor is able to outduel Diego Simeone across 2 legs in this tie, then I'm going to be very transparent. Simeone's legacy takes a hit from that. This Tottenham team is absolutely terrible. There's no dynamism. There's no belief. Half the squad is injured. It should be routine for Atleti. I've been an Atleti fan for a long time, and nothing ever comes easy. I'm going to say Atleti win it overall 4-2 on aggregate. I think it'll be by 2 goals. And hopefully this happens for the sake of La Liga's reputation. Next up, we have Newcastle versus Barcelona, another rematch of a game that we got in the group phase of this competition, with Barca going away to Newcastle and getting a victory. Now, at least the home leg in Newcastle, I wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole. Newcastle have been good in the Champions League, but without Bruno Guimaraes, I don't give them much hope to win here. Barcelona have injuries as well, but they don't have an absolutely essential figure missing like Newcastle does. And I think we're starting to see a couple players in the Barcelona squad, namely Lamine Yamal, really start to pick it up now. We're going to have to start calling Lamine Yamal Mr. March Madness, how he picks it up at the end of the season. The name of the game here for Newcastle is not conceding and just using sweaty pace up front to give a Barcelona highline problems. Tonali is the key to victory for Newcastle. He is going to have the games of his life to succeed here. At the end of the day, I'm going to go Barcelona win it by 2 on aggregate, something like a 5-3. Next up, we have Bayer Leverkusen versus Arsenal, a fixture that I'm declaring as the most boring in the round of 16. No offense to Arsenal or Leverkusen fans. I really like Kasper Hjulmand and the job that he's done so far. Filling in after Xavi Alonso was never going to be an easy thing, especially once, 5 or 6 of the best players were were sold. But I think getting here to the round of 16, this is a pretty good showing from them. Now, what was not a very good showing was their round of 32 game against Olympiacos. By far the most boring fixture in that round as well. And Leverkusen, I don't really think they're going to come out here and attack Arsenal like that. And I don't think Arsenal are going to go all-out attack either. They have a Premier League title race that is occupying the majority of their time. Arteta is fighting a war on two fronts, and this is something that they struggled to do last year as well. I'm not saying they're not going to win either trophy. I'm just expecting a more conservative approach from them here. Keep the ball. Don't let Leverkusen get in any dangerous one-on-ones. Try to take advantage of set pieces. We know what the game plan is going to be here. And that's why I'm not particularly excited to watch it. The first game's in Germany, and Leverkusen are the huge underdogs. And honestly, I kind of think that makes sense. Maybe Leverkusen gets a draw. That wouldn't be a terrible bet in my opinion. At some point, Arsenal are going to lose a game in this competition. They win 8 for 8 in the group phase. Is Leverkusen the first team to hand them an L? I don't think so. They do have some very good players. Grimaldo, Tapsoba, Patrick Schick. I don't think it will be easy for Arsenal, but I don't see huge knockout power either from Leverkusen. So I'm going to go something like Arsenal 2 to 3 goals on aggregate. We'll call it a 4-1. Next up, we have PSG versus Chelsea. A tie that I'm hoping is entirely epic because it is a rematch, a revenge game for the Club World Cup in which Chelsea kind of embarrassed PSG. Of course, PSG had the fallback of the nobody cared about the tournament narrative that everybody who either didn't qualify for the tournament or who lost early on decided to fall back on. Funny how that works. PSG were pretty concerning against Monaco in the playoff round, and Monaco just beat them at the Parc des Princes in Ligue 1 as well, so maybe it's just a bogey team. Maybe PSG have nothing to worry about. Maybe Luis Enrique already has the master formula on how to take down Chelsea. All I know is they don't look as good as they did last year. Like, not a single player looks to be up to that level still. I'm not saying everybody fell off a cliff. I'm just saying they don't look like Champions League favorites like how I felt last year. And Chelsea are a very good team that I feel like have been a little out of the spotlight. They've been below Arsenal, of course. They've been talked about less than Manchester City. They've been talked about less than the downfall of Spurs and Liverpool struggling and a resurgence of Manchester United under Michael Carrick. Chelsea have kind of been relegated, no pun intended, to like the third talking point during every single talk show, it seems. But they're very good. They beat Barcelona in the Champions League. They have some great victories, beat PSG themselves in the Club World Cup. There was a potential injury scare with Cole Palmer, but based on what I'm reading here, he's cleared to play. The guy who had the man of the match performance in the Club World Cup final against PSG. I think him and João Pedro are going to give PSG too much trouble. Those fullbacks love to push up, and Chelsea have the speed and the tech to take advantage. So I am going to go with Chelsea having the upset here. I'm going to go by 1 on aggregate. Pretty high scoring. I'm going to say a 6-5 overall. Next up, we have Bodø Glimt versus Sporting, a pretty underrated fixture in my opinion. Bodø Glimt obviously took down Inter Milan in the last round, and that was a huge upset, mainly because these guys aren't even in season technically. Are Bodø amazing? Is Serie A cooked? Comment down below. I don't really know. What I do know is that Sporting are a very good team themselves, and I have more confidence in them being able to beat Bodø than I do with Inter. According to the bookmakers, this is a pretty even match, and I would agree with that. With Bodø, we know what time it is, man. Similar game plan to Galatasaray, win the home leg by a couple goals. You do that, you put a lot of pressure on Sporting back in Portugal, sit back, defend well like you did against Inter, and you're through to the freaking quarterfinals. It would be madness. But like I said, I think Sporting have a better squad to take advantage of Bodø's weaknesses. Will Bodø win the home leg? Yeah, I would say that's the more likely scenario. These guys are absolute demons at home. But I think Sporting at home are going to get it done. I back Luis Suarez in this attack to really put Bodø on the back foot. High scoring here as well. I'm going to say Sporting by, I'm going to say 2 goals on aggregate, and I'm going to go with a 6-4, maybe a 5-7, something like that. And lastly, we have Real Madrid versus Manchester City. Is this a Champions League rivalry now? Comment down below. I'm saying yes, but you guys can disagree if you want to. Year after year, we continue to get this fixture, and some people are bored of it. Personally, I'm not though. And this time around, I think the pressure is on Manchester City, who got destroyed by Real Madrid last year. The stars are aligning for a serious revenge performance here from City. First off, it's Pep Guardiola versus Arbeloa. I mean, if Pep can't win the tactical duel here, then I'm done. You also have the slew of injuries for Real Madrid, and the fact that Real Madrid's defense is very poor, trying to defend against Semenyo and Erling Haaland. Barring some self-inflicted damage by Man City, I can't see Real Madrid winning. And one of my hot hotter takes of the video, I think Manchester City are going to beat Real Madrid by 3 goals on aggregate. Like I said, a complete flip-flop of what we saw last year. Vinicius was the man of the match against Benfica in the last round, and he's going to have to be on God mode once again. Courtois, I don't know how many saves he's going to have to make, probably 5 per game. And the rest of the supporting cast, Güler, Valverde, Camavinga, they have to be on their A game in this match. But yeah, I'm sticking with City by 3 goals. And that is the video, guys. You let me know what you think of those predictions down below in the comments. I'll be back again for the quarterfinals to do a similar breakdown. So if you guys want to see that, make sure you do hit subscribe. Smash the like button if y'all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.